So you want to start the mailbag?
Boom, hit it.
From Jay Hatcher, subject, outside drive. Hey guys, I've been a listener since day one, and the show is always a highlight of my work week. Sorry, Disco, I had to mute you on Twitter as you were too political. I was listening to last week's show about guys clustering the outside while one guy jumps on them and how predictable and stupid it looks. I absolutely agree. I want to know your opinion, though, on Ric Flair, as it seems a lot of people in and out of the industry think he's the greatest of all time. To me, he always did the same moves that I thought looked stupid. The move where he goes up to jump off the top rope and gets caught by the other wrestler and gets thrown off, and the move where he gets thrown into the turnbuckle and he flips over it. I'm in my 40s and was a huge WWF fan when I was a kid. Even as a kid, I thought Ric Flair sucked, and I've seen nothing to change my opinion over the years. Thoughts? Merry Christmas to all of you. Jay Hatcher, Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Go figure. This could actually be Bret Hart under a pseudonym.
You think he would do that?
Wow.
He would do that?
P.S. I've listened to your rehash shows, and man, does KG ever suck. The show is dramatically better without that idiot joining you guys.
It's funny because, I haven't...
Disco would disagree with that.
I haven't seen it, and I don't know, but you'd have to imagine from these that people are probably getting on his case again, and he's probably like, why is this happening all of a sudden again? People are with me over K100, but...
As far as Ric Flair, it just shows you that when your charisma is off the charts, you don't have to do a lot of stuff to be considered a great professional wrestler. And that's Ric Flair. He was so charismatic and so
but you can't take nothing. The charisma is not what made him. That was part of it. He was one of the greatest workers of all time. He had some of the greatest matches. Yeah, he did over and over, but people popped. They liked those spots, and they were part of the match. A lot of wrestlers, Ray does the 619 every show. You're gonna get mad at that. I mean, those are his signature moves. As a matter of fact, when I wrestled him, the very first time I wrestled him, I actually asked him to do two things for me. I asked him to do the one where you punch him and he acts like a drunk and he falls on his face. Mm-hmm. He did that for me, and I asked him if he would do the thing where you throw him into the corner and he goes upside down and lands on the apron. Mm-hmm. And he actually did it for me too. And that was just a mark in me. You know what I'm saying?
Let me tell you, this is what people don't realize this too. Okay, is that Ric Flair was
great
and carried the NWA like he was the world champion, traveling around from city to city. Right. What you have to do when you're the world champion is, bro, you got to put in like a half hour.
Yeah.
Like at least every night, half hour to 40
minutes. Look at those old school matches with Harley Race, with Wahoo McDaniels, with Jack Briscoe.
This is what Flair would do. And this is, you can just chalk this up to like okay, if you think about psychology and stuff and all that, he knows he has to put on a long match. If he doesn't do something, at least one thing acrobatic or take one big bump, it's going to be like, it may like look like I didn't do much. So he would do the flip in the corner to show he's acrobatic, right? But it'd be the one thing he would do, right? But it was like, hey, look at this acrobatic move I could do. And he would always take his one big bump, but he took it off of the top rope in a very controlled way to be safe. So because basically he's taking his own bump, right? Yeah. And we talked about this like with Hulk Hogan, when you're on top and you want to like work like every night and you got to put your time out there, bro, you're just going to work as safe as possible. Ric Flair was a great professional wrestler that worked very safe. And he's still a great worker.
Well, not only that, you got to remember because he actually brings up that spot in the letter where he gets thrown into the corner. Mm-hmm. You got to remember when he first was doing it, he was the only guy doing it, so he was getting humongous pops. Right. Then after a while, people wanted to see it, so he kept it in there. Mm-hmm. The fact that you think he's not a great wrestler does not make it so. He's one of the greatest of all time. Now, outside of the ring, I was not a big fan of his, you know what I'm saying, personally. But inside the ring, one of the best ever to do it on a whole nother level, bro. He could carry anybody.
I remember when he had his WrestleMania match with Undertaker. The Undertaker whipped him into the corner, and he went to do the flip, and he the bed. Like he couldn't get all the way over. Right. And they just redid it, and didn't Taker was like, all right, let's try it again, and right afterwards, and he hit it. But it was weird watching because when he misses the flip, that was out of the ordinary at the time. You're kind of like, oh, maybe he's really starting to be on the downward slope. Then a few years later, they had him work in the craziest hardcore matches on ECW and against Mick Foley with Flair was taking the press slam into tacks and all this shit. He did it in TNA too. And I was like, why are they doing this?
Bro, and not only that, he's a pop culture icon. When you got Migos and Bad Bunny putting you in their videos, come on, dude. The guy was special, different, great worker, very charismatic, one of the best on the mic. styling and profiling, always looking good. One of a kind, bro.
Drew money.
One of a kind.
Okay.
Right.
Drew a lot of money.
One of a kind.
Drew a lot of houses. Drew, like,
Right.
with his
Right.
mouth and then delivered in the ring,
Right. Everything.